Hi guys, and welcome to this edition of Phyrefli's Video Digest. As always, thank you very much for watching. Now, this video is a continuation of the last video which talked about the Battlefield 1 servers. About a week ago, DICE released some additional information, and we're going to look at that information, and we're going to look behind that information to see what's actually happening in the background. Before we get to that though, I just want to quickly mention a couple of things. I like to look at myself as somebody who has a balanced opinion of DICE. Yes, they do some very silly things, and they should be called out on that. At the same time though, they do some very good things, and when that happens, I think they should be praised, because by giving them praise, they know that we like what they're doing, and that means that hopefully they'll do it some more. So the reason I'm saying this is that it looks like they're handling the release of Battlefield 1 from a server perspective very well. Now, I've been part of every single Battlefield release since 2142, and DICE have managed to do one thing consistently: screw up every release. This one though, they seem to be learning a few lessons. So you can play Battlefield 1 right now if you're a part of the early access program, which is in Origin. 3 days before the actual launch, if you bought the early enlister edition, you can play from them. And then of course the tsunami of people coming into the game starts on the 21st. So by having this almost gradual introduction, they're giving themselves a chance to make sure that the servers are stable, and to make sure they can cope with the massive demand, and that all the demand doesn't just happen at once. It's kind of staged. So whether this is by design, or whether this is totally by accident, I hope that this release of this game will go a lot smoother than the releases of the earlier games. Time will tell, but my sense is that DICE has planned this out to try to make sure that the problems they've had earlier don't happen again. And if they have done that, and it is deliberate, then I think we should be praising them for being proactive for doing that. Now, I wanted to start this video off on a positive note, because from here on in, there ain't going to be a whole lot of that. This is the article that DICE released about a week ago. As you can see, it's titled very clearly, "All You Need to Know About the Battlefield 1 Rent-a-Server Program." And the subtitle is "Learn How to Set Up Your Own Battlefield 1 Server." So this sounds really great. It sounds like DICE is coming out telling us everything that we need to know about servers, how they're going to work, how we're going to set them up. Maybe we'll get to see a tutorial video of the back end and how all that kind of stuff's going to work. This sounds really, really cool. No, it isn't. The actual article is a short holding piece. All it really does is confirm the rumours that we've already heard. And it also confirms that at release, there will not be the ability to rent servers for Battlefield 1. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, in a very oblique way, that might be quite a positive thing, because it means that DICE will focus, hopefully, on the launch of the game, which, as we know, pretty much every launch, in fact every launch that I've been aware of and I've been part of, has been absolutely terrible. So by doing this, DICE is giving itself that possibility of making sure the launch goes smoothly. If it does go smoothly, hopefully they'll get quite a bit of praise from the community for that. If it doesn't go smoothly, yeah, at that point you're basically at your wit's end. So let's look a little bit more at this article. The first paragraph says, following the Battlefield 1 launch, we will start rolling out a rent-a-server program that will allow players to set up their own private and public Battlefield 1 servers with control of different gameplay options to map rotations. Thanks to these customization options, you'll be able to create games that suit the playstyle for you and your friends. Okay, sounds kind of cool. No real information, but yeah, okay. Second paragraph says, starting close after launch, you'll be able to rent a server through the in-game store of Battlefield 1. So you're not going to be going outside the game, you can do it from within the game. Now, an interesting question is, does this mean that you're going to be ordering on a monthly basis, or could you order for, say, 3 hours if you have a match? We don't know, but we're going to find out. In the past, servers were handled by third-party companies. Now, EA is providing them directly. Now, just look at how that's phrased. EA is providing servers directly. So, I read that as EA's got the servers. No. We think this will benefit you in several ways. First off, we will be able to secure the quality of the actual hardware. Since the servers come from the same provider, it will give everyone the same uniform experience. Furthermore, if you have questions or need help, you will be able to reach out to EA support directly instead of third-party support, because we all know that the best support system on the planet is EA support, don't we? On a rented server, players will be able to customize gameplay aspects like server name, map rotation, game mode, various gameplay settings, and more, so we don't actually know what we can change. We might restrict the number of game modes available at launch and gradually enable them based on feedback and other circumstances, but you can expect that we'll keep adding customization options and UI design throughout 2016. In other words, we don't know what's going to be in there. We can't tell you what's going to be in there. We're probably going to restrict it, but at the same time we're going to be adding stuff, but we don't know what we're going to be adding. What? Expect to hear more about it as we approach the release of the Rent a Server program. We can't wait to see you on the battlefield. Now, my reading of this entire article is, one, there are two mistakes there in terms of the way it's written from an English grammatical point of view, which is unusual for EA. Normally the marketing is quite on point. Secondly, all it does is confirm what we already know. Now, an interesting little fact here is that the German version of this states November the 1st, when you will be able to start renting servers. Now, they may have changed that, and if it still states November the 1st, then will it still be November the 1st? We don't know. But this basically tells us nothing, and it just reads as marketing bullshittery. It's a complete holding statement. It doesn't tell us what we need to know. The title and the subtitle are complete fabrications, are outright lies. And how EA and DICE have got the balls to put something like this up, it just completely astounds me. If you come from the console generation, if you come from the console world, you probably don't quite understand why we from the PC world get as upset about this kind of stuff as we do. The reason for that is that we've always been used to having a lot of options. We've been used to be able to create clans, to create teams, to have scrims, to have practices, to have tournaments, and to be able to do all this stuff. Initially, we could actually host the servers ourselves, and that got taken away from us several generations ago. Now it looks like we're being compressed and straitjacketed even more, and for no good reason. And on top of that, we've got this additional layer of crap which tells us pretty much literally nothing. In fact, there's some outright fabrications in here. This second paragraph says that EA is providing the servers directly. Now, what we do know, because members of the community checked on this, is that servers that we used in the beta came from three sources: i3D, Microsoft Azure, and also Amazon AWS. You may remember that Titanfall used Microsoft Azure as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if that Titanfall technology has been ported across to Battlefield 1. The problem is that you need data servers around the world to be able to provide this. That's why you have game server providers. They have that infrastructure. So EA hasn't suddenly sprouted 20 different data centers around the world with literally hundreds of thousands of servers in there to be able to cope with this demand. They're going to get the servers from other places, just as you would do if you rented those servers direct. It's why I get so annoyed when I read that second paragraph. It's a complete fabrication. If they get them from i3D are very well known and have a pretty positive feedback as a game server provider. I've used them personally. I've found them brilliant to deal with. The guys that DICE are probably dealing with, the team there, are probably the same guys I've dealt with in the past. They are very, very good. And but to say that EA is going to provide them directly is just utter bullshit. On top of that, you're going to have to go through EA support. Now, I've heard a lot of horror stories about EA support. To be fair, I've always found them to be reasonably good. But I've read enough horror stories online about what EA support is like to shudder at having to deal with these people to be able to deal with a renting, an issue with my rented server. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying this. What I think is that this statement is the definition of marketing bullshittery. You couldn't package it any better. It says nothing. It confirms nothing. The title is a complete fabrication on top of all that. It's like someone's thrown cold water in your face, and EA and DICE are better than this. They are a better company than doing something like this. As you can tell, it actually really does genuinely wind me up what they've done here. I think we as a community, and especially the part of the community that's going to want to rent servers, deserves, and even has a right to know what's going to be provided. Why can DICE not tell us right now at least the controls that we're going to have and provide a behind-the-scenes look? Why is that so impossible? I can't see that things are going to change that dramatically. So the only reason I can really come up with is that DICE may not even be sure when it's going to come in and not sure of what level of usage they're going to provide. And for them not to know that at this stage is ridiculous. So I'm really interested to know what you think, particularly PC users, and even more particularly if you are a member of a clan or a community that's looking to hire your own PC, your own server, because you are the people that this video is really directed at. What do you think of what's happening? Are you happy with the fact that you may have bought Battlefield 1 already? Several members of your community may have bought it already without even knowing if you guys can have your own server to play on and what you're going to be able to do with that server. I am genuinely interested in what you guys think and what you have to say about this. Please let me know in the comments. Wherever you see this video, please let me know in the comments. I do try to read all of them. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button. If you've really enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to close this video for now, but what I would like to say is, as always, enjoy your gaming. Take care.